After making the video about, or the videos about meditation, it sort of occurred to me that everybody explains or describes meditation in the form of certain techniques, things you follow as images or ideas or have to do, but seldom in the form of subjective feelings, so how you feel while you're meditating, and what sort of processes go on within you while you're meditating. So I thought it'd be a nice idea to maybe talk about that. Now, I've already talked about and done a rather silly video about the process of meditating and what goes on in your head. All these thoughts come, feelings, songs, ideas, while you're trying to do meditation, whatever that means. Because I don't think most people do see meditation as a technique or a thing you do, but rather it's the thing itself. So it's the process of stillness. It's not learning to become something, it is the thing itself. And so you are bombarded with ideas and thoughts all the time, because your brain is a thought processing machine, amongst other things. It would be counterproductive to your biology to have your brain not think. In the same way it would be counterproductive to your biology or your survival to have your heart not beat. Why would you want to stop your heart beating? Why would you want to stop your brain thinking? It's what it does, amongst other things. And so the process of thinking, the thing that most people say they can't control, I can't do meditation because I think all the time. Of course you think all the time. That's what your brain does. The objective is not to stop your brain thinking. Thought processes continue in your brain all the time. The objective is to recognize thinking as a process that goes on, but to ask if there's anything else beyond that thinking, there's anything more other than the thinking. Your brain does lots of things. So one of the things it also seems to produce or do is it produces a sense of detachment from ego thinking. So all of those thoughts still go on, but you don't have to be in the thought. And so when you begin to meditate and you find yourself constantly, you'll find that your attention is constantly drawn into a thought, and then you're dragged away into that thought for a certain amount of time. And after a certain amount of time you remember, oh, that's not all I wanted to do. I wanted to stay in attention and awareness. And so you go back to awareness, and then you focus, I'm using the word, on awareness again. And without your knowing, at some point thought will grab you again and drag you off, and again you go and back again, and that happens all the time. And it might not be thought, it could be emotion or feeling. So you're constantly, things are vying for your attention, they're vying for your sense of awareness, and thoughts will drag you off, feelings will drag you off, memories will drag you off, because the brain is a predictive machine. And so it examines memory, the current condition, and projects that into the future. These are our saviors in terms of evolution, because they are the things that made us what we are. Fantastic sense of memory, an ability to compare that to the momentary conditions and an ability to project that into the future. So memory, sense of now, and imagination. They're also the things that make us ill. Because when you think about negative thoughts that we have, they're often memories of things that we've done, regret about things that we've done, or worries about future happenings that aren't actual yet. They're not now. They're something that may happen in the future. And so you're taking examples from the past and punishing yourself with those, or you're projecting things into the future and punishing yourself with those ideas and images. And so you will get caught up constantly in this machine, because that's what the machine does. Unless you're able to see that as machinery running and separate yourself from that machinery and focus or defocus on the self and the sense of being, and allowing the memories to just carry on. And every single time that a thought or a feeling or emotion drags you away and takes your attention, to not judge, not be angry, not be annoyed, but to recognize there's the machinery doing its thing, and that's perfectly okay, and that's fine. But that's not where I want to be. And so you bring your focus, your attention back to an internal focus. So you're not looking at things that are going out into the world, ideas, thoughts, projections, and so on, but you're drawing your focus back to yourself and then defocusing. So you're not focusing intensely on yourself. You're just bringing your awareness back and then relaxing, defocusing into presence or awareness. And in that state, you are aware that there are thoughts happening there. You can see them, feel them arise. You can sense them. And sometimes you might not, and a thought might drag you again, or an emotion might drag you again, or a memory, or a projection into the future, or I've got to write a shopping list, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. But you are training a default mode where every time that happens, you go back to the default position, which is presence, just being here, just being. I'm being aware that there are things around me going on, but they're not here. As I said in another video, you can use things from the first world, external noises outside, or thoughts and things going on inside, to remind you that you are not present as long as you are in one of those things. And so having your attention drawn by a sound outside, or a thought or a feeling inside, can be a trigger to allow you to turn the attention back in again to presence, where you should be, in the state of being. Defocused, not intense, because that's too much hard work. The focus shouldn't be intense focus where you're creating unnecessary energy, but where you're defocusing into simply a sense of being, not a sense of you being or ego being or what thoughts are here when I'm being, just a sense of being, just this flow of constant awareness, unmarred by thought. Where is this going? Where is it coming from? Just constant flow of awareness that goes on all the time. And it's there all the time, but we're never aware of it. That's the sense that you have, the subjective feeling. I can only speak of mine, of course, but I think it's probably similar to all people, if not the same. that you have a sense of falling back into the self, and the further you go in to that realm, to that sense of being, the more defocused it becomes, and that sort of opens out and pushes everything away, so that you end up remaining in that state of awareness with ever longer periods where you don't have to force ideas, thoughts, feelings away, because this sense of presence becomes so pervasive that it automatically seems to push all those things away for ever longer periods. At some point you might still get caught up by an idea or a thought, but initially you're looking for that sense. What is it? Where is it? Where is it? What's it like? What's it like? And gradually that presence becomes, oh, there it is. Ah, there it is again. Ah. And the more you practice that, the more it becomes a sort of default mode where it's no longer just catching a glimpse of it for a second, but being able to not hold on in the sense of attachment, but being able to remain there and allowing it to grow. And it grows within you more and more and more. And less and less are thoughts and emotions able to drag you off, so that you're able to stay in this sense of presence for longer and longer periods. There's no guarantee that you won't get carried off by a thought or an emotion, but the sense of presence remains for ever longer periods. So don't sit in meditation and worry about the thoughts and the feelings that are going on. Allow them to be. Recognise that they're there. That's what my brain does. It's part of what my brain does. But that's not the thing I'm looking for. And constantly remind yourself to just allow them to go. Fall back into being aware that they're there. Aware of being aware. And remain in that place. And that place will automatically, the longer you stay, grow. It's as if it expands and pushes everything else away until those things tend to be peripheral, and so the default state of being becomes the awareness itself. Not all of those things, but just the awareness itself.